Film critic Barry Norman has died aged 83, his family says. The journalist and former BBC presenter died in his sleep on Friday night. A statement from his daughters, Samantha and Emma, called him remarkable, adding, "He had a great life, a wonderful marriage and an enviable career." Norman hosted BBC One's film show between 1972 and 1998, its longest-running host, as well as writing for the Daily Mail and The Guardian. His literary agent described him as the defining voice of film criticism and insightful interviewing of screen legends from both sides of the camera. Norman's daughters added, "He leaves behind a family who adore him and a great roster of friends who love him too. We will miss him more than we can say." It was probably that background as a newspaper journalist, interviewer and features writer that all came together to make him such a gifted film critic. He told BBC News he could not only appreciate the story of the film but all the talents that had gone into making the film. "That is what we all remember from the 3 decades of the film program, that he brought you perspectives from every side of the camera." A good life. Tributes have begun flooding in on Twitter, with plenty of references to Norman's pickled onions, a family recipe handed down from his grandmother that he launched as a range in supermarkets in 2007. Actor and presenter Stephen Fry tweeted a tribute, writing, "Sad to hear of Barry Norman's departure. A film critic and a provider of fine pickled onions. That's a good life." Presenter Jonathan Ross, who took over film in 1999, added to the tributes. He tweeted, "Very sad to hear that Barry Norman has left us. A great critic and a lovely, lovely man." And Claudia Winkleman, who started presenting the same show in 2010, called him an incredibly kind man and the greatest critic. Barry Norman was born in London on the 21st of August 1933 to film director Leslie Norman and his wife, Elizabeth. He went to Highgate School in North London, but skipped university, instead beginning his writing career at the Kensington News. Norman's journalism took him to South Africa to work on 2 newspapers, but it was when he came back to the UK that his entertainment career took off, becoming showbiz editor at the Daily Mail. It was during his Fleet Street years that he met his wife Diana, a journalist and the author of best-selling thrillers under her pen name Ariana Franklin, and they wed in 1957. The couple had 2 daughters and were married for more than 50 years, until her death in 2011. Norman became best known as the presenter of the film program, which he hosted on BBC One for 26 years, before he left the channel to move to Sky. His notoriety was solidified when he became a puppet on Spitting Image, which created a catchphrase for him, "And why not?" that he later adopted himself and which became the title of his autobiography. He also wrote documentaries on the entertainment industry, wrote columns for The Guardian and the Radio Times, and was the first host of BBC Radio 4's The News Quiz, as well as being a presenter on the Today programme. BBC Director General Tony Hall described Norman as a first-class presenter and critic. He added, "Film buffs always found his programs essential viewing. He dominated broadcasting about films for a generation with wit and great knowledge. He will be greatly missed and our thoughts are with his family and friends." BBC film critic Mark Kermode described Norman as the master. "Watching Barry Norman review films was a pleasure, an education, and an inspiration," he tweeted. "Wit, knowledge and wry enthusiasm." Comedian Robin Ince also tweeted, "Barry Norman, the creased but alluring portal to Hollywood greats and a lifetime of film fascination."